And there was one time when somebody broke up with me, and I never could figure it out. I had no idea how to figure it out. And I finally decided, okay, Helen, make up a story.
So we know from research that emotional pain can mimic physical pain in the brain, right? So my question is this: what is the best way someone can navigate through a breakup so that they lessen this experience?
I say that you're either going to get complete within a relationship or after the relationship. So in order to be clear, we have to say whatever we need to say. And I don't mean like be judgmental, but to say what it is that we need to say, to ask all the questions we need to ask, to do the 100% we need to do in a relationship to be complete. And if on the other side somebody else broke up with us, obviously we have this question, what happened? And that question is the piece that holds us and it doesn't get us complete and hurt. And maybe be able to complete that question and ask whatever it is to be able to get those answers. I think having answers for us calms us down.
The brain is absolutely ready to do that. I and my colleagues have now put 17 people who are just been dumped into a brain scanner. And in fact, a brain region for intense romantic love becomes active, a brain region linked with deep feelings of attachment, 3 brain regions linked with craving, including the main brain region linked with addiction, and a region linked with physical pain. But the last, most interesting part to me is there's a part of the brain that is linked with trying to figure out what you've gained and what you've lost. And that brain region becomes extremely active. So when they come to your various therapy places, they are primed. The brain is primed to try to answer that very question that you're going to help them with.
Yeah, and a lot of them come in with the pain and trying to figure out what happened by all of these questions. Was it me? What can I do differently in the future? So I always try to get them to look at their pattern in their relationships and their history. What has happened? And we look and we talk a lot about the attachment, right? Their patterns of attachment. And someone who's more secure is going to cope a little bit better with the pain of a breakup. It's still going to be painful, but they have better coping skills. They're more secure, and they kind of take the rejection and then kind of can look at what I can do differently in the future. But someone who is a little bit more anxious and insecure, they're going to have a lot of doubt, a lot of self-doubt. And it's really important to take some time to get those answers to those questions, because the brain keeps going, right?
Yeah. And there was one time when somebody broke up with me, and I never could figure it out. I had no idea how to figure it. And I finally decided, okay, Helen, make up a story. So at least there can be an end to that story.
The story. There's such interesting research on making a narrative and a healing narrative. So not just any narrative, but a narrative that gives the points and then how you healed from it. And I wonder if that's the brain trying to make sense of these powerful emotions.
Yeah.
And if
and
that's
put them
the
to
way
bed.
Yes, and that's the way we can finally work it through. We all talk about working it through. I think working it through is having our thoughts and our emotions talking to each other.
Right.
So that they can move.
I think that when we break up, we usually start by putting ourselves into the right and somebody else in the wrong. So somehow we answer ourselves.
Boy, I'm the reverse.
Are you? Like they're the best and I'm not the one who's
Oh my God, what did I do that for?
But I think that the pain and anguish when we're trying to break up is almost going through, and it's a bit different than the pain we get when we are dumped, as you said. Taking these as an opportunity to kind of heal our negative wounds or negative core beliefs are probably the best that we can do in order to also heal from it.
Right? Because it will kick up that anxiety. There's no way it's not going to kick up anxiety, right?
Yeah.
And the goal is to figure out what you're going to do with it, how you were going to channel that anxiety into something productive and not let it. You also said something about fantasy, and I don't know if you all find this, but in my work, how much people tie and focus on their fantasies of what they wished could have happened or what they thought that person could have been, rather than actually what happened. really distinguishes about whether or not they move forward.
Right.
It seems to make a big difference. I don't know if you all find that.
I also think because we have proven that it is an addiction, the addiction, main addiction centers become active. I would also sort of treat it as an addiction. Get rid of the cards and letters. Don't call, don't write, don't show up at the gym, don't ask his friends how he's doing. You know, I mean, you know, if you want to give up alcohol, you don't keep a bottle of vodka on your desk.
Right.
You get rid of that photograph. And you know, some people will say, well, we could be friends. Not for a while. Because, you know, every time you talk about it, think about it, see the person, you're raising the ghost again. And, you know, I mean, men tend to not talk about it enough. And women tend to talk about it too much.
We get stuck.
And we get stuck.
So it sounds like what people watching the video can learn is that there's no way around a breakup. You just got to go through it. A little self-awareness, some time, getting a reality check on what really happened. All these things will help you get through it a lot faster.